So this is probably going to be the final video on this series, and that's pulling together the transmitter portions of the circuit. So we've talked about this before. That consists of these three BS170s, this key shaping circuitry here, and then finally we have some receiver off on receive transmit switching here that basically turns off the receive section when the transmitter is active. So that's pretty much it. So what we'll do is we'll pull that together. We'll look at the output signal on the oscilloscope, see how many watts we're getting, and then I guess the final step is to get it on the air and listen around on the 20 meter band and see what we can hear. Okay, so I've got the transmitter components in. Encountered a bit of a problem though, kind of the first in this particular build, no power output. So tracing through the circuit here, what I've found so far is I'm not getting anything here on a key down. So 12 volts comes through here. On a key down, basically there's a signal, 5 volt signal from the microcontroller to this FET, turns this FET on, grounds the base of this PNP type transistor here, and the 12 volts should flow through here. I'm not seeing the 12 volts flowing through here. I am seeing 5 volts here. When I probe the base of this transistor, I'm not actually seeing that grounded, so not sure what's going on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this transistor. I did forget to mention, when I first put this together, I actually put 120k resistor here instead of the 12k resistor. So maybe I damaged the transistor, not sure. Anyway, I'm going to pull this transistor out and do a test of it and see if that's the problem. So just back quickly, got the transistor, and this is the MPS 751 on the tester. It all looks good, so I don't think it's the transistor. So I'll keep the transistor out of the circuit and continue probing. So just a quick update on this. I think I might have found the problem. This resistor here, which I read as, I put in 120k to start with, and then I read as 12k. It's actually 1.2k. That kind of explains why the voltage here didn't go down enough when grounded through this FET. So I'll pull that resistor, put in a 1.2k, and we'll be back. Okay, so I'm probing at the base of this transistor here. Currently I'm not depressing the key, so I'm seeing 12.42 volts there. Let me depress the key, and that goes down to 11.03, so that voltage difference is more than enough to turn that transistor on. So let me get the transistor reinstalled, and we'll continue from there. Okay, so that transistor's reinstalled now, and so let's give it a test. I've got my little QRPoMeter here. I'll leave a link to that below. I thought it's a pretty good, for QRP, it's a great little power meter. But as we depress it, you can see I'm getting about 3.6 watts out. Now this is rated as a 5 watt radio. Rarely have I gotten 5 watts out of it. Usually, you know, as you can see, I'm actually running at about, you can have a look up here, about a little bit more than 12.5 volts. If I turn that up, let's go up to, say, close to 14 volts. Obviously the power is going to increase. Let me try that again. See, now I'm getting nearly 4 watts out of it. Again, if I increase the voltage, let's go all the way up to 15 volts here, and then redepress. Now I'm up at 4.5 watts. So that's basically the transmission side complete. So transmitter's working, receiver's working. I haven't actually got it on the air at the moment, so that will be next. I will come back when I've got it actually on the hooked up to the antenna, and we'll go from there. One final thing that I had promised to do before I put it on the air is to show the output signal on an oscilloscope. So I have got this the radio hooked up to a dummy load, and I'm probing the antenna on the oscilloscope. And let's just see a key down. There we go. Peak to peak signal of about 32.8 volts. And 14.0203 megahertz. So right frequency, and as I mentioned before, a little bit less than 5 watts output there. So anyway, I'll get this thing on the air and we'll listen from there. So I've turned the volume down. That's the transmitter on the air, and you can see it's able to decode. It's a pretty strong signal, so it's able to decode that. So that's the completion of this video series. I hope it was quite a bit of fun to make. It's the first time I'd kind of built this transceiver up module by module, so I had quite a bit of fun putting it together. No great problems, except the one right at the end where I didn't get any power output, but that's part of the fun, I suppose, is debugging this stuff. So anyway, that's a wrap for now. Catch you later.